Hi, my name's Nadia. I'm a PhD student at the University of Lincoln. I'm currently in my first year and my research focuses on body image distortion and disordered eating in women.
Hi, my name's Sophie. I'm also a PhD student here at the University of Lincoln. I'm just finishing the end of my first year and my research focuses on body image perception and distortion in men.
Okay, so we're going to give you some top tips before you start your PhD, so before you actually get to the university. Here are our top tips of what we think you should do to help you get started.
So our first tip is to visit Lincoln beforehand. It's always a good idea to know where you're going to be moving to, what the place looks like, get an idea of different areas that you might want to live and how close they are to your new place of work. And you could also think about things like, do I need a car, do I want to walk? And check out the public transport as well.
Our second tip would be to do some background reading, so read some past research and read around your topic area. So you want to focus maybe more on your supervisors and published research and just get a general idea of kind of the topic area that you're going to be spending the next 3+ years studying.
So another good idea would be to request someone to send you a contact for a current PhD student. It's always a good idea to make that first contact with someone who can tell you a lot more about what it means to be a PhD student at Lincoln, what it's like to live in Lincoln itself, and ask any questions that you may have just before you start.
Our final tip is to organise your initial meeting with your supervisor and ask them any questions that you might have before starting, just to get any concerns sorted and just make sure you're ready to start your PhD and just get to know your supervisor a little bit before you get started properly.
So now for those starting a PhD, we've got some top tips.
Our first tip is don't be afraid to ask other PhD students for advice or support or for help. So if there's anything you don't really understand or anything you might need advice on, make sure you ask them. They're going through the same experience and some of them will have already been through what you're going through, so they're going to have lots of great advice and help. So don't be afraid to ask them if you're a bit unsure about anything. They'll always be there to give you a helping hand and tell you about their experiences.
So at the University of Lincoln we have the doctoral school, which is a really useful central resource that gives a lot of free inductions, training sessions, and has a lot of resources as well. There are electives that you can sign up for throughout the year, from anything like writing your PhD to referencing and statistics, so it's a great thing to look out for.
And the next thing we would recommend is to attend seminars within the department or even other departments, just get to know the research that's going on in your area, and just get to know other lecturers, other research students, and just get to see what's going on around the university. This will really help you with your presentation skills and just getting to know who's who and what research is happening in your school. So as well as the doctoral school, we also have the library. The librarians are really useful and they can help you with kind of statistics and referencing and looking for research. The library also run lots of free sessions which are really useful, again, for kind of searching for literature, how to use the library, how to use the online search tool. So they're really helpful with helping you with writing and reading and referencing in your thesis.
So one thing that we both found when we started our PhDs is that everybody's PhD is different. They all move at different paces and everybody has different expectations of what they're going to achieve throughout the years. So it's important that you kind of take time to settle in, make sure that you've got a good plan of where you're going, and expect things to change throughout the year as well. So make sure that you don't kind of compare yourself to other people because everybody has a different journey and different experiences.
Another thing that we found really useful is to kind of maintain a really good social life kind of outside of your PhD. So whether that's continuing some hobbies or sports that you used to do previously, have a look at the societies at the university or just general things that are happening around Lincoln. There's lots of different stuff going on, but we'd really recommend that you kind of try and achieve a good work-life balance and make sure that you still kind of have a good social life outside of the PhD as well.
So one important thing to bear in mind when you start your PhD is that you need to be flexible. The idea that you start with of how your PhD is going to turn out can often be completely different from what it actually ends up being. So it's important to expect things to change and to understand that everybody has a different journey, and not to think that everything will always run completely smoothly, because of course it is research. So just bear that in mind.
A very important thing is to take care of your mental health. So PhDs are not always going to be easy, and if you do have any concerns, please feel free to talk to other PhD students, your friends, your supervisors, other members of staff in the department. We also have the Student Wellbeing Centre, so you can go and talk to them as well. But just remember, it's really important to take care of your mental health, and to talk to somebody if you think that you need to.
So another top tip is to establish expectations between yourself and your supervisors. Everyone's got different supervisors, and they might have different expectations of what the relationship will be like. So it's important to discuss things like how often you're going to meet, what you kind of expect from your supervisor and what they expect from you. And to also ask for guidance. Don't be afraid to ask them, because that's obviously what they're there for.
And last but not least, know what works for you. So as we've already mentioned, everyone kind of does things at different paces, and everybody works differently. So it's really important to kind of stay organised and stay on track, and just kind of figure out how that works for you and what you need to do to stay organised and to stay on track. So remember that a PhD is a marathon and not a sprint. So yeah, just kind of keep on top of your work and keep yourself organised, and you'll be just fine.
Ta-da!
I do my little awkward thumbs up.
Jazz hands.
I did a really nice little wave. He was like...
I was literally about to say something.